What if 5 survived being shot from Commander Fox? In Season 6 of the Clone Wars, we follow Clone Trooper 5 as he uncovers the secret plan of Order 66, designed to destroy the Jedi Order and bring about the rise of the Empire. 5 was extremely close to being successful, having begun to explain the web of lies to Anakin and Rex before his untimely death at the hands of Commander Fox. But what if 5 didn't die? What if he was able to tell Anakin about the inhibitor chips and the massive plot to destroy the Republic? Would the Jedi be able to stop Order 66? Would Palpatine be defeated? Or would the timeline remain the same and the Jedi were just designed to lose? Well, that's what we're about to find out. Now of course, what ifs can go in many different directions, so today, let's follow this one. But I would love to hear your take on this story in the comments below. Let's start today's story in the abandoned warehouse on the lower levels of Coruscant. 5 traps Anakin and Rex in a ray shield, so he can explain what he's learned about the inhibitor chips. Just like we see in the original timeline, 5 is close to explaining everything, but the Coruscant guard has tracked him down and they approach, telling him to raise his hands. But 5 doesn't listen. He knows this is a plot from the Chancellor to destroy the Jedi, and for all he knows, the clones might be in on it. So he reaches for his blaster to fire at the clones, when Commander Fox hits 5 in the chest, and the clone falls to the floor, losing life quickly. Anakin bellows at Fox to remove the ray shield, and Skywalker and Rex kneel beside their old friend. 5 begins panting and breathing frantically. How has it come to this? He thought to himself. Anakin looked down with sadness in his eyes. He has fought with 5 for many years now, and he was the best of them. He trusted him with his life. I believe in this moment, Anakin could have acted more proactively and tried to get 5 some medical attention. So let's say in this story, he does just that. Anakin would take 5 straight to a medical bay, where droids operate on him for many hours until they are able to stitch his wound together, and though beaten up and injured, Clone Trooper 5 survives. This would cause dire changes to the galaxy. Now there is a living being who knows the truth of Order 66, and that Chancellor Palpatine is behind it all. 5 wakes up to Anakin and Rex alone in the medical room. He jumps, but they tell him to remain calm and that he's safe with them. 5 calms down, and Anakin tells him to start from the beginning to explain everything that he was going to discuss before they were interrupted. For the first time in days, 5 gains composure and explains in detail everything that has transpired since Top was killed. Anakin and Rex were shocked, and they didn't understand. Anakin especially felt his emotions rise. I mean, for him, he was just told that his mentor, Palpatine, was essentially evil and not a good man. But in Anakin's mind, he remembered all the times growing up that Palpatine was there for him. Was it all a lie? He thought to himself. Anakin knew he had to take this information to the Jedi Council, so that's where he and 5 go. They stand before the Council as all 12 Masters look at them in shock as 5 tells his story. Murmurs and whispers spread amongst them all. Windu Sithers confirmed their suspicions that Palpatine is definitely dirty and they should confront him immediately. But Yoda advised restraint, explaining that things are very fragile at the moment. One wrong move and the entire order could come crumbling down. He reminded the room that if what 5 was saying is true, then Palpatine has the power to turn millions of soldiers against them, thousands of which are on this very planet, even hundreds in the building they were seated in. 5 says it's possible to remove the inhibitor chips as he motions towards his head and confirms that his chip is no longer there. But he said it would have to be done manually, one clone at a time. Plo Koon answered that they didn't have that much time. While they had to act cautiously, there needed to be some efficiency in their actions. They speak for hours as they decide what the best course of action is, but ultimately, it's 5's idea that prevails. He says they need evidence which shows Palpatine's involvement and how the clones' very purpose is to eventually turn against the Republic. The Council agrees this information would be on Kamino, and they simultaneously agree that a full-scale mission must be sent to Kamino at once. They all bow and begin the plan. The first stage is having 5's delivered back to the Kaminoans, where they express their agreement that 5's inhibitor chip has malfunctioned, causing him to act wildly and strangely. This was done to keep Palpatine off their tail. Meanwhile, a small team of Jedi including Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Shakti, and Ki-Adi-Mundi were sent to Kamino to investigate the inhibitor chips. The Jedi arrived on Kamino under the cover of a routine inspection. On the surface, everything appeared normal. Clone production continued and training cycles were active. The Kaminoans cooperated without hesitation, but it didn't take long for cracks to appear. Shakti, who was the Jedi in charge to oversee the clone production, led the group through the medical centers. Anakin and Obi-Wan examined training records and neurological reports. Mace Windu focused on restricted archives. Almost immediately, they found references that didn't align with standard clone conditioning, but there was nothing to suggest the inhibitor chips or the Chancellor was involved. As the Jedi pushed deeper, access became more limited. Entire data branches were sealed behind authorizations older than the Republic itself. Someone had planned this carefully. They had ensured that the truth could never be found all at once. But then out of nowhere, the alarm sounded. Across Tapoka City, defense systems activated. Through the windows, Separatist warships exited hyperspace directly above the planet. Droid landing crafts descended through the storm and began deploying forces onto the systems. This was not a coincidence. The Separatists were not here just to fight Kamino, but to completely destroy it, erase it from the galaxy just like Dooku did to the Jedi archives. The Jedi realized what was happening immediately. If Kamino fell, every record tying the clones to a larger plan would be destroyed. Palpatine didn't need to silence the Jedi yet, he only needed to erase the proof. The battle spread fast. Clone troopers engaged droid forces across the city, walkers advanced along the platforms, gunships filled the sky. The Jedi split up, moving to stabilize critical areas and protect the cloning facilities. Then General Grievous arrived. He landed near the central spire and began cutting through clone units with brutal efficiency. Obi-Wan and Windu moved to intercept him without hesitation. They understood what this meant. Grievous wasn't here to lead an invasion, he was here to make sure no one left Kamino alive. The fight was fast and aggressive. Grievous attacked with everything he had, forcing both Jedi on the defensive. Windu matched his strength directly, using the pod to nullify all of Grievous's strength. Obi-Wan focused on timing and positioning. Grievous tried to separate them, knowing that together they were too much, but it didn't work. The combined strength of Kenobi and Windu were too much for the cyborg, and Obi-Wan sliced through his defenses and killed him. At the same time, Count Dooku moved towards the restricted archives tower. He knew exactly where the evidence was, having played a hand in planting it there himself. Anakin confronted him alongside Shakti, Kit Fisto, and Ki-Adi-Mundi. The fight was immediate. Dooku did not waste time. He fought with purpose, pressing the attack hard. Dooku was the most skillful duelist in the galaxy, and he made sure he dealt with these Jedi quickly. Shakti fell first, then Kit Fisto, then Ki-Adi-Mundi. Dooku moved through them with precision, not anger. He wasn't trying to prove anything, he was trying to finish the job. Anakin was left alone. He felt the loss immediately. The anger rose, but this time it didn't overwhelm him, and instead he focused and pushed forward. He forced Dooku back step by step as the duel intensified. Dooku's impatience grows as he knew he had to act quickly to get rid of Skywalker so that he could destroy the evidence of the inhibitor chips. But the issue was, he was under strict orders not to kill Anakin, and this made him fight sloppy, and more like he was fighting with one hand behind his back. Anakin took advantage of this, and the Chosen One was able to find a way through and kill Lord Tyrannus. With both Sith commanders dead, the Separatist fleet began to withdraw. Droid forces were shut down and killed across Tapoka City. Kamino was saved. In the aftermath, Lama Su finally revealed the truth. The Kaminoans admitted that they had been working with Dooku from the beginning. The clone army had been commissioned under false pretenses. They were promised protection and profit, but after the Separatists attempted to destroy their world, that agreement was over. They opened the deepest archives and the Jedi were shown everything. Records of behavioral protocols designed to activate a final command. Clear documentation showing that the clones were created to turn on the Jedi and dismantle the Republic from within. And most importantly, Order 66, which could only be executed by the Chancellor. This was everything the Jedi needed to put Palpatine away for good. From here, the Jedi Council contact Bail Organa and the Republic Security Council, where they tell them everything. Organa couldn't believe it and was shocked. However, the reason the Republic Security Council was contacted over the Senate was because of something they found in the list of contingency orders. Order 65. Order 65 mandates the arrest or removal of the Supreme Chancellor if they are deemed unfit to lead the Republic. This could be executed from either the Senate or the Republic Security Council's majority vote. I take this to mean the system was never designed for balance, it was designed for control. Whichever side activated their order first won. Bail was fully on board with what the Jedi were wanting to do. The decision was unanimous. Palpatine would be arrested. They confronted him in his office, not as Jedi generals but as agents of the Republic. The Security Council stood with them. For the first time in decades, Palpatine wasn't controlling the room, and he knew it. This is the moment where the timeline fractures, and the way I see it, Palpatine understands instantly that he's lost the political game. There's no speech here, no manipulation, no delay, so he does the one thing he has left. He executes Order 66. Across the galaxy, clone troopers receive the command. In the Jedi Temple, the first shots are fired almost immediately. In distant war zones, Jedi are cut down without warning. The purge begins in full. At the same time, Palpatine ignites his lightsaber and leaps forward, striking at the Jedi as the Security Council moves to get out of the way and save themselves. The fight is fast and deadly, as all Jedi in the room move to strike. A rainbow of colors cascaded against the window as the fight of the century commenced. Meanwhile, Yoda tells Bail to get to the Senate and execute Order 65. That's the only way to end this. The Security Council moved together through Coruscant, trying to avoid clones who have one motive in mind, which is to kill the Jedi. Back in the Chancellor's office, Palpatine fights with everything he has, but there wasn't much he could do. He faced Yoda, Windu, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Plo Koon, 5 of the most deadly Jedi in the galaxy, and it's like he was just waiting for one of their strikes to land. Eventually, Palpatine overextends, which Windu and Anakin take advantage of together. They strike him hard to the chest, and the Sith Lord falls to the floor, dead. They all sigh in relief. It was over. Sidious, alongside Dooku and Grievous, were dead. At the Senate chamber, Bail Organa spoke to everyone. He explains Palpatine's treachery and how he was Darth Sidious, who orchestrated the war. Bail Organa executes Order 65, which instantly stops the clones from executing Order 66 and returns them to normal. From here, the galaxy would enter a rebuilding phase. Fives was cleared by the Kaminoans and released publicly that he was personally responsible for uncovering the truth. He was summoned to the Jedi Council, where Yoda and Windu personally thanked Fives. A statue of Fives was placed in the Jedi Great Hall to commemorate his efforts. As for the Jedi, Anakin was granted the rank of Master and given a seat on the Jedi Council. Before long, Padme became pregnant and gave birth to twins. In this story, Anakin never received visions of her dying in childbirth, since Palpatine wasn't alive to manipulate Anakin's thoughts. And so, Anakin and Padme raised their children to become powerful and impressive Jedi Knights, and human beings. Peace and prosperity would reign throughout the Republic for generations to come. Hey everyone, really quick, for the entire month of January at Fantasy Sabers, we are giving away a free Negotiator Deluxe Saber with every order over $250. This is your chance to get 2 sabers for the price of 1. We have over 100 sabers on offer, and I would strongly encourage you to check this out if you've been wanting your own saber. Thanks again, and I'll leave a link in the description below. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider watching one of these what if stories. Check out Fantasy Sabers for the best sabers on the market. We offer a wide range of hilts and saber designs in either RGB, Xenopixel or Profi. Also consider following us on other socials, which I will leave in the description. Thanks again, and may the Force be with you.